Welcome everyone. We are back with part 2 of our 80s movie spectacular rama.
Hopefully Anthony will not be a hater on this one.
Yes, on part 1, Anthony found a lot of things he didn't like from the 80s.
Well, he did not like.
Not like, right. And there's air quotes there, folks. There's air quotes. I just want everyone to know that on the last podcast I praised 2 Chuck Norris movies and said I don't understand what everybody likes about Back to the Future. So there we are, folks. Anyway, alright. Let's start out part 2 of 80s movie extravaganza. Wax on, wax off, baby.
Oh, Karate Kid.
One of my all-time favorite movies of that kind. I guess
yeah.
You would call it the Rocky formula. You know, the underdog who prevails.
Movie. Yeah, they did a lot of underdog movies during the 80s,
yep.
Which was good. But yeah, I think Karate Kid was...
Karate Kid's amazing.
Yeah.
And we talk about movies from whatever that endure.
Mm-hmm.
That is one that does it.
Yeah,
I've shown it to our son, and he loves it.
Mm-hmm.
But every time we watch it, and he's wanted to watch it a few times, it still... I'm seeing it like I was 14 when it came out. You know, it's still... I get the emotion still works. The music goes down a little, but that's not important. The emotions still work, you know, at the end when you see that little tear on Miyagi, the last shot of the, after he wins, Daniel-san. It's one of the great movies of its type. Yeah. It's one of the great movies of the 80s and one of the great movies of its type.
Yeah. Well, again, it's one of those movies where, you wanted to be Daniel. Even though,
I did, right?
you wanted to do the crane kick. You wanted,
And not look dumb doing it.
And not even today. Today, I want to find some little old karate master.
Me too. Yeah.
to train me.
Yeah. Your fence is looking a little in need of some help. Can I help you, Mr.
Unfortunately, I think it was definitely a movie that they did not need to make a remake.
No.
I'm a little sad that they made the remake.
I'm glad you brought that up. Here's my problem with the remake. Jackie Chan, who is amazing. Mm-hmm. Probably the most amazing martial artist working in cinema. Or was. He's pushing 60 now. He's slowing down a little bit. Don't get me started on the Smith family, so I'll just say Will Smith's kid was in it. And it was in China. Mm-hmm. And it was called The Karate Kid. It should have been called The Kung Fu Kid, because guess what they do in China? They do Kung Fu. Yeah. Guess what Jackie Chan taught him? Kung Fu. Alright, anyway, enough of that. And they also didn't need to make 3 sequels. 3 sequels.
Well, 4.
4?
Yeah, I made 4 sequels.
Oh, the next Karate Kid.
Hillary Swank.
Future double Oscar winner Hillary Swank was the next Karate Kid, and it did so well.
I did like the second one.
I did not. I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
I don't think it was as good as the first, but I did.
It lost its charm, I found.
I think they went with a different type of charm. I think the third one ended up being too similar to the first one.
Finding the bonsai trees.
Making it terrible. You would think after the second movie where he goes, sees where Miyagi's from, has deals with all that trial and error and struggle, that he would come back and not be the same arrogant little shit that he was from the first one.
Right.
I
hate this place. I want to go home. I want to go back to New Jersey.
I was hoping if they ever made a reboot or whatever, they would bring back Daniel. Unfortunately, Pat Morita is no longer with us. But
Oscar nominated.
Bring in Daniel and have him pass the mantle on to another kid. If they were going to do something,
or his son. Even.
His son, something. Pass it.
He could probably play. Have you seen him? Ralph Macchio does not age.
He doesn't.
Oh my God!
No, compared to
it's ridiculous.
Some of the other people during the 80s, it's like that's Ralph Macchio actually still looks kind of like a handsome young man.
He gained about 3 pounds. That's the difference. Yeah.
It's the Italian in him, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, I agree. I definitely didn't need a third. The fourth one, I'm glad they didn't call it Karate Kid 4 because I kind of enjoyed it.
To be fair,
it was the next Karate Kid, which was good because they knew that they were going a different way with it, and they didn't slap Karate Kid 4 onto the end of the title.
Right. So I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, but the second one I did enjoy.
It was okay. I wouldn't ever own any but the first one. The first one, and as I said, Pat Morita was nominated for a supporting actor. I don't remember who beat him, or who won over him. It's not a competition. Sorry, Sean Penn and George C. Scott. But I still, just watching his performance, and Machio too, really. He doesn't get enough credit because Miyagi got all the, thank you, Mr. Miyagi, got all the kudos. But Machio's great too. But watching Pat Morita, he's just so good in that movie. I mean, he was born, forget about Arnold, or Al. He was Al, right? Yeah, on Happy Days. But he was born to play Mr. Miyagi. The stars aligned and put him in his mommy's belly. Someday you shall play Mr. Miyagi. It was just beautiful. And he's funny.
Yeah, well, he's funny. He's serious.
He said breaks your heart when he gets drunk. Talks about his wife and killed. Yeah,
right. Yeah, he played the shit out of that part.
And even though it's such a cliched scene and kind of doesn't work in retrospect, when they're on the beach practicing, the music is beautiful. Music's great. And those beautiful, you see the silhouette of Daniel and the sun. Montage. Beautiful, yeah.
Training montage.
Yeah, gonna take a montage. But it's great. And by the way, real quick, the 80s. The montage was born in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
It was born in the 80s. But then they come back to their truck, and there's a couple of white, good old boys somehow in Santa Monica, California. Some good old boy, oh, hey, Mr. Motto, and, this really badly written, in this great, perfect movie, this badly written moment. But then he takes their beer bottles and, hey, knocks the tops off and they go away. I just love that moment. They get in the car and how'd you do that, miss? Don't know. First time. Yeah, I love that. There's just so many great.
But again, in the second one, I guess that would be, I never noticed that before, but in the second one, like the whole similar part of it is when he breaks the ice.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So
I forgot about that.
Apparently it wasn't his first time because he certainly knew how to break that ice and the whole second.
The ice was his second time.
Yeah, but no, but the whole
time.
The first one was the crane kick, that they focused on. Well, the second one was the whole drum.
Yeah.
So, family tradition or village tradition.
Right.
So that wasn't his first time because he knew the move. If you want to get technical.
Well,
great! You just ruined the whole damn series for me.
Karate Kid sucks. I was wrong. But no, that's one that'll endure this forever for me. The Karate Kid. Daniel-san.
Yeah, I guess when they did the remake of it with Jackie Chan and whatever Will Smith's son is.
Yeah, the Kung Fu Kid.
Kung Fu Kid. That I guess. I'm bitter. Ralph Macchio.
Please say he came out against it.
Well, he called Jaden Smith. At least this is what I heard, and told him not to screw it up.
Good.
Said it's. You have a lot on your plate.
here's what I would have done. I would have called Jaden Smith. You suck! Don't touch the Karate Kid!
All right. Prank call him.
Prank caller.
You suck! Click!
But no, that's one that'll endure and last. And
don't do After Earth. Oh, sorry.
Don't work with Shyamalan. He's gone batshit. There's we talked about action movies in our last one, and of course we're about to name two, at least in the top 5 greatest action adventure films ever made. I just want to talk on these quickly, because we'll do Spielberg again, probably many times over. But Raiders of the Lost Ark and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and for that matter, all 3.
The Last Crusade.
Yeah, The Last Crusade. They're all in the 80s. I mean, what what is there to not say?
What can't you say about it?
They're just perfection and a part of our youth. But I wanted to speak on Temple of Doom. Even to this day, with all the crap I don't mean to sound fuddy-duddy because I'm not, but with all the violence and shit that's on the screens today on television, I I've seen more naked women on television, on broadcast television, than I've seen in my entire life. Just by the way. But when Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom came out, 1984, it started the PG-13 rating, which is fine, because there's some gruesome shit in that movie. Indiana Jones, until Crystal Skull, which we won't talk about right now, but until Crystal Skull came out, Temple of Doom was considered, that's the worst one. That's the worst Indiana Jones one. And to me, with the exception of Kate Capshaw, who makes me want to do something violent to my own skin. I'm sorry, Spielberg. I know she's your wife now, but she wasn't very good. With the exception of her performance, I think it's almost as good as Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think it's a great film. And my problem with people, their reasoning, and they talked about the violence, and it's so dark and violent, and he rips a heart out and reaches in the... Really? Yeah, that's horrible. Yeah. Guys didn't have any problem with when they opened the Ark, everybody's face melts and blows up. And, yeah, that's okay. But there'll be no reaching in and grabbing of the hearts.
Yeah, but it was all claymation looking. So.
And it was all, but as far as just... Roger Ebert, I'll probably be quoting him a lot because he was one of the great critics of all time. He gave it 4 stars. He was one of the few that actually championed that movie when it came out. He said it could be the greatest bruised forearm movie of all time. Because he's getting banged up and his shirt's ripped, and it's just as far as just we went to see it at AFI Theater last summer, I believe. We took Arcade. Yes, that's right. I took my 6-year-old son to see Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and he's seen it like 6 times. He loves it. Doesn't bother him. But there was a line. There were people looking like, oh boy, are they bringing a 6-year-old? Yes, you're goddamn right we are. And he's fine with it. And, if it was rated R, he wouldn't be here. But I just... And that's probably the 30th time I've seen it in my life. It's still exciting. I still get a rush at certain scenes. And the scene where Short Round, when he's under that spell, Indy, and Short Round brings him back, and he's like, Indy, I love you, and he picks up Short Round, I'll kill him, and he's like, I'm okay, kid, And the music starts up. I'm getting chills talking about it now. It's just one of the great movies. I just don't understand why that movie is so maligned when it's such a great film.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people give those flack because they also, again, don't understand the premise of the movies. Even the 4th one, I think a lot of people just give the series a little flack because they think it's, it's campy humor, it's, goofy, But what they don't realize is that that's what it's playing off of. It's playing off that genre. Like, when does the first one take place? Like,
the first one?
40s or...
Yeah, it's, I think 41.
41. Well, it's playing off that campy, goofy 1940s style of a movie.
The movie serials.
And then you get, like, the second one, which is playing off that period of time. And even the 4th one, which people, swear to this day is crap.
It's not crap.
Again, plays off that campiness of the 1960s or... whatever, if you go to those type of serial movies during the 60s, it's playing off of that, and that's what I like about Spielberg, what he did with those movies, because you're playing off that goofiness of the time period.
Exactly.
And you got to take that into account when you're watching them. Kingsman, I'm going to throw that out real quick.
Okay.
It's playing off that same idea where it's kind of a campy retake, modernized of those old Bond films and spy films from the earlier days. So you got to keep that in mind while you're watching it as well. But
I do want to see that.
That's a recent movie. That's not the 80s.
Yeah.
Part 2 80s.
Part 2 80s. No, I agree. Real quick, one last non-80s moment. The 4th Indiana Jones is good. It's the least of them, yes, in my opinion. But it's good, and there's some great moments in it. It's my Godfather theory. if Godfather 3 is the worst of the series, that doesn't mean it's a bad movie.
Right. Yeah.
It means it's just not the classic that the others were, but it's still a damn good movie, and it falls under that theory,
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's bad.
Still like my last thing about the fourth one at the end, where Shia LaBeouf picks up the hat and Harrison Ford, nope.
Yeah, that's great. Right.
I'm glad that they didn't, try to pass it on.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Nope. No, that's fantastic. Yeah, but Raiders of the Lost Ark, all three of the Indiana Jones films in the 80s, just three of the best movies ever.
Oh yeah, Sean Connery the third.
Yeah, Sean Connery was a brilliant addition. But yeah, folks who remember Temple of Doom being too much, watch it again. It's just a great adventure.
Yeah.
And it's weird, but there's more action than in Raiders of the Lost Ark. There's more. I'm not saying it's better or whatever. I'm just saying there's more of it. There's more of what we want to see Indiana Jones do in,
And we got those great trilogies during the 80s, too. The first one was, 77, but, we got the last two Star Wars. We had the Indiana
we'll touch on those lightly. Yeah.
We had Back to the Future, even though you spoke ill of them from the last podcast.
No.
But you had those really good trilogies that all kind of came out during the period of time.
Exactly, and they were trilogies that were made to continue a story, not to
just to throw
money.
Let's see how much money we can make. Let's put them in some other
weird. I don't like the Transformers films. I've only seen the first two, but I would understand a second one. I don't understand what are we on the fifth,
third, fourth,
or whatever. Yeah, it's all money. But like you said, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, those are continuing the stories. And
did we really have anything that kind of had that same quality until the last trilogy came out?
Where nothing.
It was made to be.
Yeah, to be a saga.
I mean, I guess the Matrix tried to do that, but.
Well, they tried.
So.
Let's leave it at the Matrix Part 1. I'd be much happier. But so anyway. Yeah, I agree. That's a good point. Let's talk about some. Well, here's another real saga that we should talk about, even though the only one was in the 80s. But the Alien saga is another one like that. James Cameron broke new ground with Aliens. He took. I was a teenager, so I didn't care. I was excited, but I'm sure most film people were like, "What are you doing, making a sequel to Alien? Are you crazy?" And it was 7 years later? Yeah. It was 86, and Alien was 79. So, and he just, they're two sides of a great coin. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
If
definitely.
you want the tight, dark horror, you get Alien. You flip it over, you got the horror with action and just
everywhere.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But yeah, that's another. Even though, like I said, Aliens was the only one in the 80s. It's another one that they continued the story. To continue the story, not you know how much money we'd make if we did.
Yeah, but they did the sequel right instead of let's throw this out just to see how many people who are fans of the first one that we can make buttloads of money on. Let's make a quality film that's let's try to outdo ourselves. Let's make something that's going to be just as good, if not better, than the first one.
Exactly.
And you don't see that in sequels really anymore.
You don't. That's a podcast in the future, folks.
Yeah.
Sequels.
Sequels, yeah.
The good, the bad. But they gave it to the right guy, a pre-ego James Cameron. Because he's got a big ego.
Well, that's another thing. He's putting, these ideas into the right hands of people. I think we love George Lucas, and
we love you, George.
A big Star Wars fan.
We don't hold grudges, George.
But you can't say that putting it to another director's hand for Empire and Return of the Jedi was not a good idea.
It was a brilliant idea. And just real quick, it's 80s. Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars film ever made, in my opinion. So I had to get that out there. But no, you're right. And they gave it to the right man, Cameron, based on another great 80s groundbreaking movie, The Terminator. What a great film. Yeah. What a great 80s, even though we can't really talk about the rest of them because they weren't in the 80s. But No, I remember when my dad took me to the Terminator, and I'm sure you remember the first time you saw it.
Oh yeah, how could you
You're
not?
like,
With
what is this?
With that wasn't Christopher Young. Who did the soundtrack for that?
Brad Fidel.
Yeah, how could you not with that music?
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, and we saw the opening shot of the human skull, and then the Terminator foot coming down and crushing it, and then it pans back to all the post-apocalyptic. Oh my God, it's just makes me want to see it again right now. Talking about it. It's no, it was that and Aliens, as far as James Cameron in the 80s, both groundbreaking films.
Oh yeah, great sci-fi.
And as far as the Terminator, I mean, he made a great story out of Aliens. As far as the Terminator, what an original idea! What an amazingly multi-leveled story and brilliantly original idea that was.
Yeah.
And Bill Paxton, remember he was one of the punks at the beginning when Schwarzenegger first zaps to Earth and he's naked. Yeah. And those punks are at the edge. That's Bill Paxton.
At the bar?
No. Oh. The bar was in part 2.
Was that the second one?
Part 2.
Sorry.
But yeah, and he's
I couldn't remember where he got his clothes.
Doing his Bill Paxton. Like Chet in Weird Science. We spoke of Weird Science last podcast, and we apologize to Mr. Paxton for not bringing him up at all.
Yeah, because he was a great part of that.
One of the great parts of that movie. Well, Kevin Costner. Whoa, there's a segue without a segue.
Yeah, Aliens, Terminator.
Yeah. Reminds me of Kevin Costner. I just wanted to speak briefly on Costner. He's gotten an ego over the years, and if anyone who ever watches Inside the Actors Studio, I beg you think Robin Williams is funny, watch Kevin Costner's. And it's not funny because he's comedic. It's funny because, have you seen his?
No, I haven't seen it.
We've seen Inside the Actors Studio. You are in a holy place for actors and directors and writers. And you're sitting next to, even though he's easy to make fun of, a holy man of that place. So Costner keeps getting up when so tell me about this. He'll get up and he'll walk to the edge of the stage and he talks about threatening the writer of day. His ego is out of control. And that was 10 years ago, so I can imagine. And he hasn't done a good movie probably since Waterworld. Yes, I stand by that.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah. That's one for a future podcast. But lest we forget, back in the 80s, this man could do no wrong. And he had a string of movies in a row, that actor-wise, not many people, maybe Pacino and De Niro in the 70s, maybe. I mean, in a row, folks. Kevin Costner. 1985, Silverado, which I don't know if you've seen that.
I don't think so.
One of the great Westerns. And it didn't do well. That was supposed to be his star making. He had a supporting role. Scott Glenn, Kevin Kline, John Cleese, Danny Glover, Jeff Goldblum. He basically took most of the Big Chill cast. It's Lawrence Kasdan, and he put it in and added Costner, who was actually in the Big Chill. There's an 80s movie, Big Chill. But it's just a rousing, old-fashioned. It's not Unforgiven. It's not serious, and it's a blast. But he did that in a row, folks. Kevin Costner, plucked from obscurity. Silverado, The Untouchables, which is just a great movie, won Sean Connery his one and only Oscar. No Way Out, an almost great movie, but a really good thriller. Gene Hackman. That's the one that really turned him into a sex symbol. He had the big hot scene with Sean Young. Back in the limo. Okay, so in a row. Silverado, Untouchables, No Way Out, Bull Durham, and Field of Dreams. I mean, what actor? And each of those, with the exception of Silverado, were monster hits. Yeah. Monster hits. No actor that I can think of anyway, has had that good of a run as far as box office and quality. All those films I named are either great or very good. And I think I own them all.
Yeah.
I own every one of them. And I think as far as sports movies go, Bull Durham, I think, is just a classic. Everybody goes to Field of Dreams. And yes, I love it. And yes, it gets me. And it shouldn't, because I could give a wombat shit about baseball And but it's quotable. It's a great movie. It's wonderfully done. A great score by James Horner, and it chokes me up, and it's beautiful. And Kevin Costner called it "It's the Wonderful Life for Our Time." He's not right, but but anyway, I just thought it was nice to mention because Kevin Costner has kind of become his movies don't do anything anymore. He's kind of but he just had an amazing run in the 80s, and that's where he came from. What's that?
I got to give him shouts out though, and to my high school because he actually went to it.
That's right.
He didn't graduate from it, but he did go to my high school, Buena High School. All of my Buena peeps out there, if you listen to this, Ventura, California. But yeah, he went there. He was a sports geek, from what I hear. So him doing sports movies, I guess, was kind of
imagine that
his bag. He still goes back and plays basketball with them every once in a while.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I liked Kevin Costner, especially during that period of time. I'll still look at one of his movies nowadays just to see what he's up to. But you're right, he really hasn't done much, unfortunately.
Yeah, in a while.
But I have Dreams.
Oh yeah.
Great. Bull Durham. Great. I don't know. It was Dances with Wolves.
That was 90s. That was 90s. So it just missed it. Yeah.
Over. But yeah, I like his epics and his kind of longer movies.
Me too.
So Dances with Wolves.
Postman is not the garbage people think it is.
Yeah,
it's
I like
not
Postman.
It's not
I liked,
that great.
Waterworld.
Waterworld is great.
Give him kudos. I think he's arrogant, but he has the ability to do some really, really good stuff.
He does, and he can be really, really good. Yeah. Really. Yeah, I love him. Yeah. I have a weird allegiance. I've seen everything he's done.
Yeah, I kind of have a weird allegiance.
I mean, most of them I see on video now because I'm like, oh, I'm not going to that thing. Draft Day, and this. I dread this new one. I'll wait for cable for this one, but it's Kevin, so I'll see it. But it's out at theaters now. McFarland USA. He's coaching a ragtag running team based on the inspirational true story. Like, ugh, leave me alone.
Yeah, he needs to stick with baseball and possibly golf. But
Tin Cup is a great movie. I love that. Was his last great movie. Yeah. Tin Cup was phenomenal. We haven't talked about a lot of comedies from the 80s.
No, really.
Well, I mean, John Hughes.
Yeah, John Hughes. Yeah, I guess the 80s was a little bit kind of, there was eclectic kind of in there. Because, I mean, some of the action movies you could kind of throw into a comedy.
Yeah.
Like,
48 Hours we talked about.
Yeah, 48 Hours,
Beverly Hills Cop. Yeah.
You can kind of throw those into a comedy aspect. But
in my opinion, comedies, the 80s comedies were the best. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was nothing better. I'll start with, let's do Tim Burton.
Okay.
That's where he came alive.
So, like,
Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Beetlejuice, his two 80s comedies.
Yeah.
I can quote you the entire movie of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and I'm proud to say that my son can, and my mom.
That's great.
I was 16 years old. My mom and I and my girlfriend went to see Pee-wee because we both love Pee-wee. And my girlfriend was laughing at us because we were laughing. We were crying just every moment of that movie. And it still holds
thing
up.
I've ever seen.
And it looked like this. Tell them Large Marge sent you. Oh, that is just that's an eminently quotable movie. I love it. You like it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. How could you not?
Talk to my wife.
Yeah,
not a giant Pee-wee fan.
Aw.
Yeah.
But come on, guy in search of his bike.
Yeah.
Come on.
Remember when he's in? I could talk about this all day. I'll just do one scene. When he's in Texas, because the lady told him it was at the Alamo. Yeah, it was the basement.
Basement of the Alamo.
But he calls Dottie back home, and she's watching his dog Speck, and he, somebody wants to say hi to you, and she lets Speck bark on the phone. And he's like, Speck, and the dog keeps barking, Speck. All right, Speck. All right, Speck. Yeah, the dog's yelling at him. Yeah, that's great. I'm a loner, Bill.
Why are you a
rebel.
loner? Oh, yeah. Why are you a loner? Quoting the movie.
No, I'm not. No, I was doing a line from the movie. I could do the whole movie. We need to get off this because I'll just start doing Pee-wee the rest of the Beetlejuice.
Oh, it's classic. Instant.
Great comedy.
Michael Keaton's performance, much better than Birdman.
Here we go, folks. Here we go.
No. No, great. Great.
Ah, it's fantastic.
Again, they're making a sequel of it. Hopefully they do it right.
Just leave it alone. It was
yeah.
highly original.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming up with that idea. It was really great, yeah. The now infamous, the daylight coming in, where he's making them all dance.
But I guess, Winona Ryder needs work. Since
God bless her.
Since Star Trek.
Look, you get residuals, Winona. You don't need to shoplift. I don't know what that was about.
Oh, come on, that was many years ago. Let's hope she hasn't.
I know.
She's not doing that anymore.
No, I know, but I'd still like to know what the hell.
Yeah.
What she shoplifted.
She was studying for a part that I never saw her do.
Yeah. That shoplifting movie she did. Yeah.
That shoplifting movie.
I didn't see that. Yeah. Didn't get made.
But no, Michael Keaton was great. It would be odd if they brought back
Baldwin,
because he looks totally different than he did from that movie.
Yeah, Keaton, they could just throw makeup on him and make him look exactly the same. Come for your daughter, Chuck. I love that. That's a great movie. Yeah. And it's in a way it's geared towards youth. And forgive me, here comes the little fuddy duddy. I'm a father now, but you have to. It bothers me. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. It bothers me that the one part where he knocks over the model and he's like, "Nice fucking model," and grabs his. Like, wait a minute, where did that scene come from?
Like, why would you put what was?
Yeah.
Why that?
But
that should have been on the cutting room floor.
Exactly. But who cares? It's a great movie.
Great quotables in there. I love when they're. So what's your qualifications? Well, let's see. I lived through the plague. I saw The Exorcist 27 fucking times, and it gets funnier every time I see it.
I love that. Right. That's hilarious. Yeah, that's great. And then, real quick, I hate to do this, but this is how I can do it on this movie, since we're on Bergman.
Bergman.
We're gonna do what Ingmar Bergman were in the 80s. They're deep special. They played chess with death. Tim Burton, Batman.
Oh, yes. That was 80s.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was in the 6th grade.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to that for a very long time.
So was I.
You were in the 6th grade?
No. Yes, I was. I'm not almost 46 years old. I was in the 6th grade in 1989. I liked it.
Liked it?
I didn't love it.
Really?
Yeah. And
you're a Nolan Batman fan, right?
Well, yeah, but that's not. I was already saying that back in '89 when I
really?
saw Batman. Yeah. So Nolan didn't. Oh, screw! I'm not one of those. Forget about I would own it, and it has a lot of great stuff in it. But I thought it was uneven.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a perfect movie.
I'll give you that.
I am a huge Prince fan.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, I love him. I think he's a true genius in music.
Well, most of the songs out there that you hear nowadays is he either wrote or helped, do whatever.
Produced it
or wrote it or
did a little in the background. No, I didn't think his music belonged in there. Mm-hmm. And that I hear that was Jack Nicholson's suggestion. Who knows?
Yeah. The one thing I don't like about that Batman, I guess, and movies of the sort, they kept killing off the main villain character. So in the first Batman they killed off the Joker. And, you don't take, especially for me, I read the comic books like crazy. That was all the comics I owned were Batman. You don't take the nemesis and the major villain
and kill
him off.
Right.
You just don't do that. And I'm glad that they didn't do it for the Nolan Dark Knight Batman movie. But again, unfortunately, the guy who did insane job of it is no longer around. So
really killed himself.
Yeah. So it's like how can you really do that part justice anymore without having him?
Jared Leto is going to play the Joker.
And what?
And what is that?
Batman versus
the Something Squad. It's based on a graphic novel. I haven't read it. All the villains of all the comic books get together and they have their own squad. I can't remember what it's called. But Jared Leto's Leto's playing the Joker and it makes me sick.
Yeah, we'll see.
Sick, I tell you.
Are you up to on Gotham? This isn't movies.
Yes.
Did you see the kid who's going to be playing the Joker?
Yes.
Oh my lord, that's insane.
That's perfect.
But 80s.
Yeah, sorry, folks.
Batman.
But I digress. No, it's uneven. Kim Basinger was like a piece of wood.
Yeah.
I never understood her popular. Well,
she was sexy.
She's sexy and pretty.
Even in 6th grade, I wanted to tap it. No.
Yeah, right. Anyway. Yeah, no, well, me too. Sorry, Alec Baldwin. He's like, I don't care. I got rid of that crazy woman. I thought Keaton, I loved how great he was as Bruce Wayne and Batman because everybody was just up and on. You were in 6th grade. I don't know if you noticed. It was all over the place. What? Are you crazy, Michael Keaton?
I thought he was great.
He was excellent.
Well, it was probably because he wasn't the, the
suave.
I'm Bruce Wayne / James Bond. Come on.
Yeah, he was kind of a goofy Bruce Wayne.
What I always liked about Batman was that he was a normal Joe in a in a suit. Of course, my wife would, yell at me and say, no, he has his superpower, which is super rich.
I was going to say, there's no superpower.
But he's, he's a normal guy, trying to fight crime. And I thought Michael Keaton brought that to the character.
Yeah.
He was kind of laid back. Was it Kim Basinger that was in the room with all his Japanese samurai armor? And, he's kind of walking in and kind of talking.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't prove it. He's not like, hello, I'm Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he looks like just a guest at the party, and she's like talking about how, or he is. Who was it that was in there?
Robert Wall.
Yeah, it was the reporter guy. And
Lieutenant, is there a 6-foot bat in Gotham City?
I heard he's kind of an arrogant asshole or whatever.
He said something like that.
Like, what kind of arrogant person would buy these?
Has big charity balls.
Because that was me. It was good.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. The action's kind of lackluster, but Tim Burton isn't an action director.
Yeah.
The score is phenomenal. Danny Elfman, one of the best scores of the last 100 years. It's a great score. But it's a good movie. I give it like 3 stars. Yeah, it's good. 3 stars with about 3 or 4 4-star moments. And Nicholson,
Nicholson was great.
The ultimate Joker. Well, the other side of the Joker coin.
Well,
He's
really
the fun
bring,
Joker.
Yeah, they really tried to bring
one.
kind of the actor from the 60s.
Caesar Romero.
They kind of brought aspects of him into it.
And that's fine. And that was great, yeah. And a lot of people, like you said, are you a Nolan Batman guy? I'm a both Batman guy, But
I'm just a Batman guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm a Batman guy. That's why I'm going to be slogging into Batman versus Superman with Ben Affleck.
I don't know. I think he can pull it off too, as long as he
stays in the Batman suit.
Doesn't bring his cockiness into it as much. Yeah. I think he could be very similar to Michael Keaton if he does it right.
Yeah, but now
I'm afraid
now it's all dark
right.
and brooding. See, the fun Batman's over. Fun superhero, real quick, side note, Your Honor, fun superhero movies are over except for the Avengers. And they're even brooding.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. But, yeah, everybody has to go dark now. And that's why
which is not bad for a Batman movie, because Gotham
he is the Dark Knight, yeah. But, that's why I hold in my heart still my favorite 2 superhero movies of all time are Superman 1 and 2 with Christopher Reeve. They perfectly capture everything you want from a superhero, everything you want from a comic book turned to a movie.
Right.
I mean, I won't go on those. Superman 2 was in the 80s, so I guess I could sneak that in there. But it's phenomenal.
The third one.
Yeah, we can stop at 2. Let's just pretend there are no more Supermans after Superman 2. I don't care if Richard Pryor was in it or not. Yeah, but no, I mean, Batman. I'm a Batman guy. I like Batman. Here's getting back to the comedy aspect, Vacation.
Oh, National
Come
Lampoon's.
on.
To this day, I cannot hear.
Real quick, written by John Hughes.
Yeah. I cannot hear Holiday Road without instantly thinking of National Lampoons.
Well,
I can't hear it on the radio.
Yeah,
Instantly,
well,
you know,
it's from National Lampoon's
Wally
Vacation.
World and
Yeah, exactly.
everything pops in my head as soon as
Roll 'em up.
as soon as that song comes on.
Yeah. We'll segue into Chevy Chase here. I think Vacation is a really funny movie, a great comedy. But Chevy Chase's heyday. Mm-hmm. Forget about him on Saturday Night Live, which was amazing. His heyday was in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Vacation.
Fletch.
Role he was born to play. I think we spoke about that on the last podcast.
Yeah.
Three Amigos. It was just fantastic. Forget about the second Vacation. National Lampoon's
Christmas Vacation.
Christmas Vacation was an instant classic.
It kind of jumped because it was like European and then Vegas Vacation should never have been.
Well, Vegas was in the 90s.
Yeah. Out of the series, though.
It was okay, but yeah, they shouldn't exist. It should have been the first one and Christmas Vacation. Yeah. And Christmas Vacation is almost equally... In many ways, it's funnier than the original Vacation. I don't know what it is. But and Chevy Chase also did a movie... Spies Like Us. Did you remember that? With Dan Aykroyd? That was a great movie. Nobody talks about it. It was a big hit. It was funny. And Funny Farm, do you remember that?
Yeah, Funny Farm.
That was at the end of the 80s. And he was really... all those movies are great. And he was funny. And I feel like I'm leaving something out, but I can't.
I'm sure.
Can't think of anything.
Other ones that he did in there.
But those are the big ones anyway. And he was... the 80s comedies... Chevy Chase is one of my favorites back then.
Modern Problems,
while not a perfect movie, but he's funny. And he was funny in it. How about Spaceballs? While we're in the 80s comedy era.
Yeah.
A little too late as far as parody, but...
Yeah, for a parody, but being a Mel Brooks movie.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm glad that he's considering possibly making a sequel to that.
I'm not.
Yeah.
His last two movies left me cold. I couldn't believe Mel Brooks did them. Dracula Dead and Loving It, with Leslie Nielsen as Dracula, and Robin Hood Men in Tights, which some people like.
What's wrong with Robin Hood Men in Tights? Carrie Ellis.
Ugh, I don't.
He's the best Robin Hood because he can do an authentic British accent.
Yeah, unlike other Robin Hoods, I can do it. Yeah, it's. I thought it was terrible.
Oh wow.
There's a couple things I giggled at, but I don't want to be watching a Mel Brooks movie and when it's over say, there's a couple of things I giggled at. I
got some good stuff in there.
I want my sides to hurt from laughing. And no,
your arms are gone, but you got some nice boobs. That was good.
Hey Blinken. Did you say hey Blinken? Yeah, little things like that. But on the whole, no.
No.
And I love Dave Chappelle. I don't want to see Dave Chappelle in my Mel Brooks. Yeah. It almost seems like he's trying to stay hip. Even though Dave Chappelle wasn't anybody back then, but at the time. But I don't know.
But no, Spaceballs. That was a great parody.
It's fantastic.
Rick Moranis was wonderful in it.
That could be my favorite. That and Ghostbusters, which we'll hit in a second, I guess.
Yeah.
My favorite Moranis performance. When he first comes out as and he lifts it up. I can't breathe in this thing. And when he says, "Let's go to the radar." And he says, I can't make heads or tails. Well, that's not the radar. That's Mr. Coffee. And he turns to the rest of the crew. I know. I'm aware of that. Yeah. It's a great movie. John Candy again. Bill Pullman, who was a weird choice. No, I did not see you play with your dolls again. Yeah. And the late, great Joan Rivers as the C-3PO-ish. Well, I don't remember the character's name, but...
Dot Matrix.
Is that it?
Yeah. Dot.
And Daphne Zuniga, an 80s mainstay that vanished from the, I don't know, but she was nice to look at.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she was Meryl Streep, but I didn't care. It was a good movie. And Mel Brooks himself, as always.
Yeah, Mel Brooks.
President Scroob.
Yeah.
The Up Yours salute that they had. Yeah. No, Spaceballs is a great movie.
Coat as my luggage.
Yeah. And one of the funniest scenes ever is at the end of that movie when they reenact the alien scene where the alien comes out and it's actually John Hurt,
right? And
he's like, here we go again, and he lays down and the alien comes out.
Hello my baby, hello
does
my
a little
darling.
song and dance. Oh my god, when I first saw that I was in tears. That's one of the funniest things. No, yeah, Spaceballs is a great 80s. As is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Ah, Bill and Ted.
And even though it was the early 90s, I like
Sandy rules.
Sandy was football's rules. Yeah. I unfortunately, Keanu Reeves I'm sure he's not like that all the time, but he got stuck. Like, I think that's how we all perceive Keanu Reeves.
Well, that's how he acted in like all his movies.
That's a good point.
Like
yeah.
Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
It's like dude, we got to do our something's amiss at the Circle K, and it's like, dude, I'm an FBI agent, and
dude, we can't let this bus slow down.
Exactly.
Dude, I don't want to take either pill.
Exactly.
And then an occasional whoa. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Kung Fu.
Were you doing Tobey Maguire doing Keanu Reeves from Saturday Night Live?
No, did he do that?
Tobey Maguire was on Saturday Night Live years ago when Tobey Maguire mattered, and they did the Celebrity Jeopardy, and he was Keanu Reeves, and he rings in, and yes, Keanu, I know Kung Fu, and it's the funniest thing. And you said it exactly. I just thought that's what you did. But no, Bill and Ted, George Carlin, the late great George Carlin, and they went.
Which was funny. I realized, and I don't know if this was their intention, but Bill and Ted was kind of an 80s rip. I don't think rip-off's a good word, but Doctor Who. Somebody who did Bill and Ted's was a Doctor Who fan.
Because of the phone booth? Really?
Yeah. I never realized that before until I was seeing a picture not too long ago of the phone booth. I was like, the police booth, the phone booth, because it's an old style phone booth.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, an updated phone booth. It was like the old, Superman jumping out of phone booth type phone booth, where you think of like the British, police booths.
Yeah.
It was an older police booth.
Right.
I just found that very interesting, just to throw that out there. I see that side
because at the time I didn't care about.
I didn't really think about it, but and it's a time machine, but it's a phone booth.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I think that was
kind of like a TARDIS.
Tip of the hat.
Yeah,
yeah. Oh.
Geeking out a bit there.
See, folks, this is all. Our podcast can also be a learning experience for people like me. I didn't make that connection at all. No, I think Bill and Ted is just a ridiculously funny movie. And whatever happened to Alex Winter?
That was the
Bill.
Bill. Yeah, he did like.
Whatever happened to Bill?
And did. Yeah, that was like that's like
yeah.
Yeah, that's all I remember from Bill and Ted,
Winter.
Lost Boys, and now we're done.
Bill, whatever, Esquire. I can't remember his last name. And I'm Ted Theodore Logan. I used to have a Wild Stallions t-shirt.
Wild Stallions.
Speaking of 80s comedies, Tom Hanks. Does anybody remember that he was one of the funniest guys ever?
Yeah.
Does anybody remember? Does he remember?
I don't know. He does a lot of serious
God
stuff.
bless your dramas, Tom, except for the frickin' Da Vinci Code and all that crap. But come on. Splash.
Splash.
A very funny movie.
Uh-huh.
John Candy again. Candy. One of the funniest. Yeah. My favorite John Candy moment in Splash, cracks me up, is when he first shows up in the movie. For those who don't know, and I think everybody does, Tom Hanks and John Candy are brothers, and they own a shipping dock company. And they're on the docks, and they ship fruit, and that's their shipping thing. They own the shipping, the freighting, whatever you call it.
Freight, yeah.
But John Candy drives up in his Camaro, crashes into a big bunch of crates getting ready to be loaded. He gets out of the car. Who put this goddamn fruit here? You're on your... Yeah, I just thought it was funny. But no, Splash is very funny. Bachelor Party. Not a great movie, but it's hilarious. Tom Hanks kind of doing the Bill Murray thing at the time, but he was very funny in it.
Yeah, well, you had that kind of whole series around like Splash, Bachelor Party, The Burbs.
The Burbs is
Money Pit.
Funny. Money Pit is funny. Even if Shelley Long is in it. I hate Shelley Long.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, not a Cheers fan?
I love Cheers. I hate Shelley Long. Yeah. I was so... Can I tell you what? When she left the show, I was so happy.
Really?
And I'm not kidding. It's not like, no, I'm just kidding. I just don't like her. I hate Shelley Long. Anything she's in, I can't stand when she's on screen. Anyway, go on. I'm sorry. I digress. It's
You
80s.
digress. It's 80s.
Shelley Long is
Shelley
80s,
Long.
and she sucks. All right. I hate Shelley Long.
Beverly Hills Troops. Come on. No.
No. Outrageous Fortune. I love Bette Midler, but I hate Shelley Long. Yeah.
No, but how Big? Big was 80s.
Oh, Big. Big, yeah. I was like, what was Big? Big, you're right.
Big was big.
Big. Who's on first? Third base. No, Big was great. And Tom Hanks was nominated for an Oscar for that movie.
Oh, I did not know that.
I have a little problem with that
Mm-hmm.
for the simple fact of, what was he supposed to be, 10?
Yeah, I think
He
was
played
10.
it like it was 8.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, he was a little young.
Yeah, played it a little younger than he should have been, but who cares? It was a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the famous moment where him and Robert Loggia are tap dancing
Mm-hmm.
that's just one of the great
FAO Sports
movie moments.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a great moment.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I noticed, my wife and I watched it a couple of years ago, there would be an uproar in today's movie police society. The scene where he goes to bed with Elizabeth Perkins.
Oh, yeah.
They sleep together.
Right.
I mean, we don't see it, but
Yeah.
they have sex. She doesn't know at the time, mind you, that he's a 10-year-old boy in there in an adult's body. But they show the seduction scene, and they show them slowly making out and dropping her clothing, and then they fade to black, of course, to a great follow-up scene the next day. He's at the office, the elevator opens, and he's bouncing in, he's all happy, he's like the greatest day of his life. But I think today's movie police would
complain about
like
that.
you mentioned with Fast Times.
Yeah.
With the scene where she goes out with the 20-something-year-old from the record store,
Yeah.
and lies to him that she's 18, but she's not. Yeah, I think today's, oh, wait a minute, there's an 8 or a 10-year-old boy in there, and you can't show that. And
Yeah.
I think that scene wouldn't play today. But I think we forgive it because it's been around so long, and it's Tom Hanks, and it's a classic film.
Yeah, but it's also, I don't know.
I'm not saying...
I can't be, yeah.
I'm just saying...
I don't know.
Movie
I think it's kind of, it's a little bit more endearing, but then I guess, I kind of become kind of hypocrite because... Fast Times.
I know, right?
I don't know. Fast Times just to me seems a lot more dirty and kind of...
Well,
wrong.
it was she was losing her virginity to an older man on a baseball field, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe they just did it a lot more tactful.
Well, it was tactfully done, and I'm not saying anything against it. I'm just saying that scene would not fly today.
Yeah.
It would not. Because people like to get on the internet and point fingers and tell us about what's wrong with everything. Movies, life.
Yeah.
But let's, yeah. But anyway, that's our little Tom Hanks is one of the funniest men on the planet, lest we forget segment.
How we ever got.
And you mentioned The Burbs. That's considered a failure. A lot of people hate it. Critics hate it. I think it's hilarious. It's so
I still
funny.
own it.
Bruce Dern. What movie can you say Bruce Dern was hilarious? You usually say Bruce Dern creeps me out or he was brilliant. Bruce Dern was hilarious in that movie. I love The Burbs. Directed by Joe Dante, who did Gremlins, another great 80s movie.
Corey Feldman.
There he is again. You're right. This son's of
I'm going to throw his name in every podcast.
Those guys are creeping
Corey
up.
Feldman.
Right. Let's talk about Ingmar Bergman. Corey Feldman. By the way, we're doing an 80s podcast. That's the second time Ingmar Bergman has come up. Just by the way. He did do movies in the 80s, but who gives a shit? No, I like Bergman. Yeah, Gremlins. A movie that endures. I've seen it a million times.
Yeah.
I love that movie so much. Love it.
Yeah, I think it's another one that's, you can't talk about the 80s without talking about Gremlins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Mogwai.
it's a class. Judge Reinhold, baby.
Oh, Judge Reinhold.
I told you he's coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was as the smarmy jerk. Phoebe Cates. Not earning an Oscar for her performance, but she was pretty to look at. Fast Times.
Yeah. They didn't show her boobs in Gremlins, so I guess.
No, yeah, that would have taken the rating up a notch. But to that great Cars song. She comes walking out in the snow.
Then gets attacked by Stripe and all the other. No.
Yeah. They come running out. But no, Gremlins. It's just a fun movie. It's the instant classic at the time scene where they attack his mother in the kitchen, and she disposes of 3 gremlins with kitchen appliances, blenders, microwaves. It's still an effective scene. It's still great. Gremlins, yeah, and the sequel is great too. Not a lot of people like that so much.
Yeah.
And that came out the early 90s, I think.
Yeah, I think it was early 90s.
Yeah. Not a lot of people like that so much, but I thought it was great. Caddyshack. Classic. Started the whole slob comedy. Well, I think Animal House probably started it. Yeah. Caddyshack really nailed it to the wall. Noonan. Yeah, you can talk about Caddyshack all day. Everybody knows its merits.
Bill Murray. Great.
Bill Murray, Cinderella Story. Chevy Chase again. We didn't mention that when we were talking about Chase a minute ago. It's Ty. He was great. I love you, Betty. Yeah. I like you, Betty. What are you doing in this? Remember when he meets the blonde girl? What are you doing with this nape of the neck? Why are you here? When he's getting drunk with her and they're drinking tequila and he's playing the keyboards. I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I miss you, Chevy.
Yeah.
Oh man, have you fallen from grace? Yeah. Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh, nerds!
Another great classic. I'm not even gonna try to laugh; it'll scratch my throat. He was just in a near fatal car accident, but he's okay. Robert Carradine, yes.
Oh, Robert Carradine.
Yeah. Stop taking the Carradines. He
was Lewis. And then Gary was Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards, yeah. Who I never liked really, except for Revenge of the Nerds.
He did a movie during the 80s that was
Miracle Mile.
Oh
wow!
Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah.
Woo, we had a breakthrough on the show, folks. I love Miracle Mile.
Oh, me too.
That's a good movie. Tangerine Dream soundtrack, by the way. They'll come up a lot talking about the 80s. That's a great movie. Yeah. That's a good movie. That was a time when the nuclear threat was still close. And there was a lot of those. That another 80s movie, TV movie, but The Day After scared me to death. It's all about nuclear. Ugh, whoosh. Yeah. But no, Revenge of the Nerds is a funny movie.
Oh, yeah.
Have I? Thank you. My dad's a big fan
Booger.
of that, too. Booger, yeah.
Ogre. I mean, you get a lot of people. You can't. Yeah. I can't see them now on TV or whatever without going, Booger!
And what's his name? Poindexter?
Poindexter, yeah.
He ended up on 30-something as a father of 2 and yuppie. I'm like, no, it's Poindexter. Nah, 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 nah. At the end, nah, nah, nah. That's a great... I love that. The Lambda Moose.
Oh, Lambda.
Or yeah, you're right. And the Omega Moose. You're right. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, that's a good movie. Classic. Love the Nerds. Different kind of comedy. Airplane. Another pretty much laugh a minute.
Yeah.
Even though some of the laughs are you rolling your eyes that you're, really? But it's so funny.
Well, it's going back to the, Police Squad. And
I love that
type
show.
Of slapstick.
It's more 80s. Yeah, I love that
wonderful.
show.
And you got the, Naked Gun, which was, again, not as good as the airplane
the Files
movies,
of Police Squad.
But they were trying to do that style of comedy like the Police Squad, and they haven't been really able to do it since. I mean, the Wayans brothers tried to do their little scary movie takes on it, but failed miserably.
Yes, indeed they did. And they're funny. That whole family's funny. But not on the screen, they're not. No. They're not. You put them on a mic. they're funny comedians, but no, not on the screen. More great comedies of the 80s for me. Blues Brothers. Blues Brothers is just, I think, it's a well-directed movie. John Landis, the great John Landis, who's responsible for some of the best comedies ever made. Right. American Werewolf. We'll get to that another time. Blues Brothers, Animal House, Spies Like Us, so on and so on. And for some reason, Stewart saves his family. I saw it, and I can tell you, I don't even remember it. I only saw it because it was John Landis. I never liked that character. Yeah. But no, Blues Brothers, the music, the comedy is so funny.
That was doing a Saturday night skit right.
Yep. Exactly. And one of the few and last times that they did that. You're right.
Yeah.
You don't even... That movie is so good, you don't even think, oh, yeah, that started on Saturday Night Live. Yeah. Yeah, is doing it to a masterful level. I can't say enough great things about the Blues Brothers. It's a great movie, eminently quotable. I got my cheese whiz boy. What's that?
I'm on a mission from God.
Yeah. Are you the police? No, ma'am. We're musicians. Right. No, it's just such a great movie. Yeah. I love it when they go pick up the drummer. And, hey, Jake, glad you're out. Elwood, nice to see you. It's been a long time. You guys looking good. You got the money you owe me, motherfuckers. I love that. Yeah. And what do they call themselves when they're trying to pass themselves off as the country band? Because they get there before the band?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Damn it.
I just remember that
the
whole
Something
performance.
Boys. Stand by your man. Yeah.
Hit him up, hit him out. Raw high.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a good one.
Miss that guy. All right.
Belushi?
Yeah.
You took the wrong Belushi. Anyway, no, I like Jim Belushi. I'm not a hater of Jim Belushi.
No, I like Jim Belushi.
Everybody hates him.
He hasn't done anything as iconic as his brother, which, unfortunately, I think that's... But if he chose his movies a little bit better, I think he could have... Yeah,
because he doesn't have the comedy talent of his brother, but he's certainly a funny guy.
Yeah, and he had the screen presence. You weren't like, oh my god, that guy's.
And he's been in a few movies where he actually played dramatic parts where he's good. Oliver Stone's from 1986, Salvador with James Woods. He was great in that movie. He played a whacked out junkie, Oh, and one movie we forgot to mention, two actually, directed by Joe Dante, who we brought up earlier, Gremlins. Interspace.
No.
Or Interspace. And I about said Interstellar.
Interstellar.
Interspace and Explorers, both.
Yes.
This guy had a great run in the 80s as a director. I love Explorers.
Oh, I love Explorers. I'm still trying to get my wife to see that one because it's on Netflix now.
Yeah. Corey Feldman's not in it, right?
Corey Feldman? No. No, it was River Phoenix.
Yeah,
Ethan Hawke.
We'll talk about Phoenix.
And that other guy that really didn't do anything.
Yeah, what happened to that guy? No, Explorers is anybody who has kids.
Howie Mandel.
Oh, Christ. Do we have to bring him up?
Well, he's in Explorers.
What?
Of course.
What? Yeah. He was one of
his only voice.
Yeah, right. And that's the way I like it, right? Just like that. Remember his act back then? What? Oh, my God. Oy. No, if you have kids, Explorers.
Oh, yeah, Explorers is a movie to watch.
My son loves it. And, it's a great movie. Interspace. The funniest Martin Short performance I've ever seen. And I think Martin Short, by the way, is one of the funniest people on the planet.
Oh, he's great.
He hasn't made as many good movies as his peers, but he's always funny. He is so funny. And in Interspace, for those of you who don't know, Dennis Quaid gets shrunk and shot inside Martin Short, and he's floating around his system, and it's just the funniest thing. You like it, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How can you not? Who was the woman? Was that wasn't Meg Ryan?
Meg Ryan.
That was
That's
Meg
where
Ryan.
That's where they met.
That's where they met?
Yeah. Poor Dennis.
Yeah, I know.
Then she did a movie with Russell Crowe and said, "Ooh, I'm going to bed with that guy."
That pissed me off so much. I lost a lot of respect for Meg Ryan after that.
I don't care about people's personal lives. But for some reason, when it's somebody I like, I'm not to the point of where I'm going to buy People and read what happened. I'm going to watch E! And see what the scoop is on this divorce. I'm not talking that. I just mean, like, for instance, I dug Meg Ryan at that time. She's a little cutie back before she messed up her face.
Sleepless in Seattle.
Just the cutest thing. And then she does a movie with Russell Crowe, one of my favorite actors. And she sleeps with him and ruins... Yeah. They didn't even start a relationship.
Well, that's interesting because he's not one of my favorite actors. So that's
really?
Probably...
all right. Well,
that's probably why I didn't like it.
So it bothered you more than...
It bothered me more.
Than it bothered me.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about a couple real quick, and then we're going to end part 2 of our 80s. Of our 80s.
Jesus Christ, people, we talk too much. I apologize.
We talk too much, but that's the good thing. As long as you keep listening. When you stop listening, we'll cut it down. We spoke on Ghostbusters. And Ghostbusters 2 was in the 80s. It's not as good.
I don't think we talked about Ghostbusters as much as it deserves.
We did. Yeah, we didn't really. Can we save that for part 3?
Sure.
Because there's a lot to say.
Yeah, there's a lot to say about this.
And we need to wrap it up for the folks. But we promised you folks we're going to keep it down from now on. Just real quick, we spoke quickly on Three Amigos. But Tootsie, not a lot of people remember that is a comedy.
Yeah.
It's a comedy.
It's a very good comedy.
What's that?
No, it's a very good comedy.
Very good comedy.
I mean, it
Bill Murray
brought around, things like Mrs. Doubtfire. And,
yeah.
Those type of...
Yes, I'm the only person that does not like Mrs. Doubtfire.
But I'm just saying, the Mrs. Doubtfire was very Tootsie-ish.
Oh, yeah.
And, you can definitely pull that out of it, but...
Definitely. And if we're talking so-and-so begat so-and-so, and Tootsie is descended from some like it hot.
Right.
But, no, Tootsie is a very funny movie. I like it. And it doesn't... If that movie was made today, it would be too off the rails. The situations would be too unbelievable, too outrageous.
Right. That's probably why, what is it? What's the... So-and-so goes to jail, and so-and-so goes... The dude dressed up like a woman.
Oh, my God.
Really playing a woman.
Medea.
Like, I can't stand
You know what? Someday when I'll do a podcast by myself and give you the day off, because we'll get shot. Because I cannot stand Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
But we won't get into that. I hate Tyler Perry. He's the unfunniest, terrible.
Well, he's going off that kind of stick that Tootsie did correctly.
And hey, that's fine. Guess what? I don't like Mrs. Doubtfire, but I laugh at Robin Williams as Mrs. Doubtfire.
Right.
So if you do it, if you're funny, I'm fine.
Yeah, do it right.
There's so many ways to go wrong. But Tootsie did everything right. The situations were believable. Dustin Hoffman this goes without saying, phenomenal. Bill Murray was great, and Terry Garr was wonderful. Jessica Lange won an Oscar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gina Davis.
It
was just a great movie. Great. One of the best scenes in the movie is for me at the end.
When he reveals himself?
He's already revealed himself. And Charles Durning, who was in love with him, played Jessica Lange's dad, and was going to propose and gave him the ring as Tootsie. Or as Dorothy Michaels. Yeah, sorry. It wasn't named Tootsie. That was just a movie. But Charles Durning sitting in a bar, getting drunk, drowning his sorrows. And there's no dialogue. Dustin Hoffman goes up, stands next to him. Durning looks at him. Dustin Hoffman sits down. Durning looks away. There's a beat. There's a minute where there's no movement or sound. And then Dustin Hoffman slides the ring back over. It's just a great moment. Tootsie's a great 80s comedy. And that's a good one to end on.
All right.
For part 2 of our 80s phantasmagoric extravaganza.
So much in the 80s.
Yeah, there's so much more. And there's more coming, folks. We're going to do a part 3 for next week. And there's a lot more. We're going to talk about some couple of action movies we forgot.
We haven't even touched horror movies yet.
And we're going to have a massive 80s horror talk with you. So again, send your comments. Leave your comments. See,
this is why it's important for your comments. Because we need to read those comments for you to go, stop doing the fucking 80s.
Right. Well, just to let you know, we're doing 3 to 4 episodes on the 80s. And then we're moving on. But the 80s, just real quick, the 80s is, I think I spoke of this on the first podcast, is where we grew up Jaws, Star Wars, Close Encounters, and all that. But I think our outlook on genre films, anyway, was molded by 80s films.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about it later. I'm getting ready to rattle off a bunch of movies.
We're about to continue.
Yeah, that's right. So that was part 2 of our 80s podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Please leave your comments. We are out of here, and we will see you for part 3.
See ya.